Good evening, and thank you for welcoming me here tonight on behalf of the Chief Constable Ian Livingston, who's unfortunately for operational reasons unable to attend. I'm pleased to have an opportunity to speak about identity, belonging and community cohesion. They are principles which are, in my view, central to how constables discharge their duties in Scotland. Tonight allows us to reflect on the vital role of the partnership between Police Scotland and the communities we serve. Police officers perform a difficult and sometimes dangerous role. They do so without fear or favour, with courage, integrity, and most of all, with humanity. I know the incredible individual and collective acts of public service carried out each and every day. Policing is a job like no other. It's a vocation. It's not what we do, it's who we are. Every minute of every day of every week. Our officers come from all walks of life, from varied backgrounds and diverse traditions, reflecting the communities we serve. What unites them is a shared sense of purpose and duty, an ethos of public service, striving to protect the vulnerable and improve the safety, security and the well-being of fellow citizens. One could say policing has always been about community cohesion, about looking after our fellow citizens and their well-being and welfare. Looking at it in an historical sense, however, policing had a very narrow definition into crime and criminal investigation and of law enforcement. Law enforcement is and has always been a key aspect of policing, but policing is also much greater than that. The devastating impact of drugs on individuals, families and communities in Scotland, for example, is rightly the subject of considerable and very passionate public debate in terms of drugs-related deaths and the impact that they have on all of our communities. Police must continue to target dealers through local and national intelligence networks and through operational activity to try as best we can to prevent drugs from reaching our communities and, crucially, to bring those responsible for such terrible crime to justice. But the complex reasons behind substance misuse will not be tackled by enforcement action alone. We are absolutely committed to supporting those who suffer addiction, who are often some of the most vulnerable in society. Our lead officer, my boss for partnership and prevention, Assistant Chief Constable Gary Ritchie, is a member of the Scottish Government's Drugs Deaths Task Force, which has been established to seek long-term and sustainable solutions with partners. This is challenging but vital work. Policing has a crucial role, but a contributory role to it, and these are areas which will require focus and complementary work from various partners over a sustained period. We also know how vulnerable people and vulnerable communities are more likely to live in our most deprived areas within Scotland, and we're working with the Scottish Government very closely to look at the experience of victims and to better understand the picture of victimisation. This is particularly important around violent crime, where around 2/3 of cases we record are connected with alcohol. This again is a significant public health issue and one of the 6 public health priorities for Public Health Scotland, who will be a key partner for us in the future. Increasingly, we are managing and analysing the demand that may be characterised by our public health role, which is different to our traditional enforcement role. For example, we carried out some analysis of the calls that we receive. Of around 2.5 million calls which we receive each year, over 80% no longer result in a crime being recorded. A great number of these are concern for person calls, and these might relate to behaviour or a person who is suffering from poor mental health or who is otherwise in distress. This is why we have officers taking individuals to hospital to see mental health professionals so that an assessment can be made, and often a police or criminal justice outcome is not the best for them. Undoubtedly, for a variety of reasons, in recent years, we have been picking up a lot of work that would traditionally have been met by other organisations, albeit with some police involvement. So while law enforcement is a key part of policing and the ability to uphold the rule of law is crucial to the role of the police and our legitimacy, policing, and in particular policing in Scotland, has always had a community basis with a wide mandate. Police Scotland is absolutely committed to ensuring we police through the consent of all our communities, and that reflects everybody within this room and outside. The Chief Constable says to our new recruits that their authority comes not from him as the Chief or an Act of Parliament, but from their fellow citizens. Those relationships and how the police discharge our duties in line with human rights and with fairness, integrity and respect are vital in maintaining and enhancing the trust and confidence of the public upon which we rely. It is critical that policing is representative of the communities we serve. The Peelian principle from the 19th century by Robert Peel, that the police are the public and the public are the police, remains as relevant now as it was almost 200 years ago. We need to have a workforce, both police officers and police staff, who accurately and properly reflect the communities we serve. Without that, we will not fully understand or properly serve those communities. Equally, the better we as a police service reflect our communities, the more they will be engaged and interested in our work. And again, I'm absolutely convinced that the more of our fellow citizens that understand our work, the more they will support us. In July, the Chief Constable and I attended an event at Tullyallen, which is our headquarters and central training facility, to celebrate Police Scotland's diversity, as the first recruits from our Introduction to Policing programme finished their 2-year probationary periods. The programme, which has been designed to encourage people from minority ethnic backgrounds to think about a career in policing, was set up in 2017, and those who successfully applied after taking part are now serving as police constables. To give you an indication of the difference that actually makes, in 2016, 10 of 723 officers recruited were of minority ethnicities, whilst in 2018-19, from a similar number, the number of recruits had increased to 68, 10 to 68. I'm pleased to say that one of the candidates who came through the programme was named as Probationer of the Year, a high accolade indeed. It has not been easy, but what we have been able to do is put an absolute focus on creating a more inclusive, more diverse identity that is recognisable across all of Scotland. Of course, there's still much to do to maintain and enhance how we reflect and represent our communities. The Chief Constable, and indeed everyone in Police Scotland, is absolutely committed to that work and to enabling all of our people to tailor our service to our local communities. We have recognised that in the early years of the single service, we were focused on our internal structures, divisional models, tasking arrangements, systems and processes. We needed to implement decisions quickly, and there were lots of good reasons for that. We were bringing together a high-risk public service in which our appetite for risk was very low. We had significant operational challenges with our focus firmly on keeping people safe. In the 6 years since reform, Police Scotland has matured as an organisation, and now that we have established common standards, the priority is to allow much greater autonomy at a local level within that framework. Community policing is the cornerstone of Police Scotland, and all policing activity is ultimately delivered to benefit our citizens. Reform has allowed visible local policing in our communities to be maintained, while removing around £200 million from the annual cost of policing. And that's more than the equivalent of the combined budgets of 3 of the previous legacy forces. Maintaining officer numbers is something that has not been achieved everywhere, despite Scotland facing similar financial constraints to other UK jurisdictions. Policing in Scotland is more stable, more equitable and more efficient. We have transformed how we deal with serious crime and major incidents in support of local policing for all of our citizens, as well as meeting periods of high operational demand wherever and whenever they occur. So again, I'd just like to close and thank you for your welcome tonight, and I hope that everybody participates fully in the evening and has a lovely time. Thank you.